Hello, hi. Day 5 already. This is the last day, the last class of this mini course, Get to the Root of Your Symptoms. And I'm really excited because today we're just really tying it all together, like making a nice little wrapping around all of those roots that we talked about. Let me just double check that this is recording and going live. Where is it? Okay. So, if you only watch one video, this would be the one because we're really putting it all together. Yes, there I am. Okay. And thinking of the next step too, which is really important because it's one thing to receive information and learn things, but it's another thing to implement that. And this is, the one, there are two things that I learned that are the most important thing that I learned being a dietitian and a nutritionist for over 11 years now is that the little changes, the little things that we often dismiss and feel like are not necessarily what we need to do, and we just push that back away because we want those new things, those more exciting things, those like that superfood, that supplement, and all of that. Well, there's those little things that we push aside that truly nourish our roots that are the most powerful. So the basic things, I don't like the word basic because they're like fundamental. That's the true nourishment of our roots. Those are the things that are the most powerful in helping you feel better and heal. And the second thing that I learned is that the most effective way to change is to actually do the things that we feel are going to help us. What I mean by that is that oftentimes I see so many being so smart and educated about all the things that they should do, but then doing them and putting them into action is another story. Maybe they're able to do it for a certain period of time, but it often ends up in self-sabotaging and then feeling defeated. And then you can see how that back and forth cycle where you're not fully committed and you're not truly nourishing all of your roots at the same time, that's setting yourself up for failure and feeling disappointed because one of your roots won't be properly nourished or even be contaminated as a result of those trial and error, and then feeling like a failure and feeling like you're not able to do it. So today for the day 5 of Get to the Root of Your Symptoms, we will, again, so that doesn't really matter what kind of symptoms you have, whether it's brain fog, bloating, gut issues, hormonal imbalances, skin issues, depression, anxiety, what else? Blood sugar issues, fatigue, low energy, blood sugar issues, diabetes. It doesn't really matter. Those roots needs to be nourished. You need to have that solid foundation. And yesterday at the end of the class, I talked about how you can think of a table. A table has 4 legs, and we talked about 4 roots: the body, mind, heart, and soul. We need all 4 legs for that table to be strong, balanced, and stable. And it is the same with your body. Yeah, maybe that table can stand on 3 legs, but it won't be as stable, and it won't definitely not stand on 2 legs or 1 leg. So we cannot focus only on our body, our physical body, or even only our physical body and our mindset if we're not touching on the heart and soul too. We need those 4 legs, those 4 roots for our table, our body, life to be balanced and healthy. Just a reminder of who I am. If it's the first class you're watching, my name is Aglaé Jacob, or you can call me AJ. I'm a non-diet dietitian, a heart and soul nutritionist, and a self-love guide. And my goal is really to help women and men that are self-sabotaging with their food and their health finally nourish their roots, their body, their mind, heart, and soul, so that they can make the self-loving choices that will help them move along on their healing journey. So let's get started. Day 5 today. For the last 4 days, we've been talking about 5 toxins contaminating each of our 4 different roots and what we can replace that with. Today will be a bit different. I think it will be a bit shorter. We'll just kind of try to recap and see what the next step is. And also for those of you who haven't had a chance to listen to watch all of the classes, I'll be putting a little bundle where you can download all of the classes as an MP3, so just like a podcast, so you can listen that while you're on the go, so you don't miss all of that juicy and transformative information. So yeah, growing our roots, that's what we're talking about today. Today we've talked about how to better remove the toxins contaminating our roots, how to better nourish them. Now it's time to grow them. So it's like the next step. This is really the integration of all those different parts of ourselves, our body, mind, heart, and soul. And why is it so important? Well, when we want things to manifest in our physical life, when we want our health to be where we want it to be, when we want our body to be able to do the things we want to do, it all starts with our thoughts and our emotions. Our emotions can affect our thoughts can affect our emotions, and from that, it affects our actions and what becomes our reality. And then those actions, that reality can feed into our thoughts, our emotions, and it's all so connected and intertwined, like those like roots can be. And so a recap: day 1 for the body. I asked you to pick one thing that you wanted to focus on. So maybe by now you have a list of anti-inflammatory foods that you want to add more to each of your day. Maybe it's eating like an extra 2 servings of vegetables, or an extra serving of berries, or maybe it's eating those 2 to 3 servings of cold water fatty fish that are high in omega-3s, like wild-caught sardines or wild-caught salmon from the Pacific or Alaska, because those are the least contaminated sources of fish. So maybe that's what you're going to focus on for your body, or maybe you're going to focus more on sleep and how to optimize it. So you can go back to class 1 if you want more details about those things. Now on day 2 for the mind, maybe your goal is to just focus on what, I say just big, but it's a big thing, to focus on your thoughts, to pay attention to your thoughts, watch your thoughts, and just bring more awareness to what is going on instead of being on autopilot. Or maybe your focus will be on creating more spaciousness, to make sure that you have time, quiet time, to have that spaciousness in your life, whether it means just sitting quietly outside, inside, meditating. It doesn't really matter, but our mind needs that spaciousness. It's the most important nutrient that it needs. Then on day 3, for the heart and emotions, maybe your focus is on paying more attention on how you speak to yourself, because all of these things can be on autopilot too. And most of the time we end up telling ourselves things that are very harsh, that we wouldn't even tell someone else, or, not even a friend, and not even an enemy sometimes. So we need to watch that, because we need that love and compassion for ourselves first, before being able to show up in the world in the way that we want. So that could be one way that you start removing some of the toxin affecting your heart. Maybe adding some self-care practices to your routine, not on a monthly basis, but something that you do at least weekly, ideally daily. And it doesn't have to be a lot of time, but maybe setting some time for yourself to nourish your heart with something that makes you feel good and make you feel like you're taken care of. Or dreaming. Dreaming is also something we talked about on day 3, and how that creates, allowing yourself to dream, giving yourself permission to dream, creates all of these great emotions, positive, healing, renewing emotions that will help you get unstuck from that victim mentality and negativity. And then yesterday we talked about the soul and how we need those soul candies as often as we can. There is no limit to those the amount of soul candies that you can have in your life. having some of them multiple times a day is highly recommended. And those soul candies can just help bring more connection and joy to your day. And usually they're there. It's just that we don't necessarily see them. I don't know where I put my flowers, my flower, but I encouraged you yesterday to draw a flower and write joy in the middle, and then on the petal, write things that bring joy to you, your soul, because joy is what nourishes the soul, as my mentor Christina Rado always says. So that could be the little things, as I said, like eating a really quality piece of chocolate mindfully. It could be spending time in nature. It could be doing yoga. I mean, we talked a lot about it yesterday. So find out what it means for yourself and put it on the petals of your flower to get back to it as often as you can. We need to be reminded. Change is not easy. Change is a practice. It's normal that don't feel defeated if you feel like, okay, I want to do this change, and you try a couple of days and then forget about it. It's normal. It's not your fault. We just need a lot of support and reminders when we want to change. So which of these four roots is the weakest for you? Is it your body, your mind, your heart, or soul? I'd love to hear in the comment to see where you feel like there's one root that might be exposed to more toxin, or that might not be nourished as much as the other ones. I'd love to hear which one it is. Because, during this mini course, you've heard a lot of information. Maybe, hopefully, you're thinking about it. And now maybe you're starting to see it more in your lives, in your roots. And now it's time to feel and trust your intuition to guide you into choosing the next best step for you, the best route to focus on, or the best focus to have on each of these roots to help them become healthier and stronger. And put that into action. Because our health truly is like a garden. So how's your garden doing? Are there many weeds in there? Has it been left aside for way too long? If so, it's time to get back to it. We want to grow strong roots and healthy plants. And another way to look at it, we can look at the soil of the garden that is our health as the food that nourishes our physical body, the nutrients that we get from the soil. Then we have the rain that is more like our mind. It's what we water our garden with. Are we watering our garden with kind thoughts, or are we watering our garden with polluted rain, contaminated with a lot of negativity and all of these thoughts that are not serving us? And then the sun is more like our heart. It's that warmth that really nourishes our heart and our garden. And it's often easy for many of us to have many, many dark clouds around that sun that's preventing us from getting that love and compassion that we so deeply desire and need to thrive. And then our soul is more like the air all around us. It's all around us, but we don't see it, but we know it's there, and we need it to breathe and stay alive. So those are the things that we don't necessarily see, but we do need that. It's like joy. Joy is all around us. Beauty is all around us if we stop for a minute and really pay attention and allow ourselves to feel that. So your most powerful gardening tools are really intention and focus. So don't be all scattered trying to do too much at once. Maybe this week you can focus on one root, on one toxin, or one nutrient that you want to add, and that's enough. Focus on that and do it, and then you'll see the impact of that. And when you're ready, you can move on to something else. And the intention of it is really knowing deep inside of you that this can be really, really beneficial to you, and that it can heal and transform yourself. And having that intention will magnify everything you do a millionfold. So it's time to move away from like knowing what to do, what to eat, what to not eat, how to take better care of ourselves. It's time to move away from that to actually doing it. Again, when we have thoughts, it impacts our emotions. And then our actions, it can either be reaction, so reactivity, which is not necessarily good because it comes from fear usually. So let's say you get to the doctor and you get a blood work with high blood sugar or something, and then you're reactive, and that if you come from that place, the changes are less likely to be sustainable and to benefit you and your health in the long term. And then other people may become paralyzed. So there's reaction or inaction, and both of these things come from fear. So it's kind of the fight or flight, or freeze. Yeah. And then what we don't want, so we don't want reaction, we don't want inaction, we want inspired action that really comes from love and wanting to take better care of yourself and wanting more, wanting to grow those roots, but also wanting to grow yourself to reach that full potential that I know and you know you have inside of you. Yeah. We're bombarded with information on a daily basis. It's crazy. There's just so much information. We're not able to process it all. And I know that if you're here listening, you're really smart and well educated and you know a lot of these things. But then it's not about having more information. It's about transformation. It's time. It's time to put that into action and bring that to the next level. So this course is really a great way to get jump started in that direction for this summer, because imagine where you could be at the end of the summer. And if you feel like you want more support, more guidance, more motivation, and be part of a group, then I have my Nourish Your Root program. That's a group program, but the groups will be really small because I really want to have individual attention. I really want to get to know each and every single person part of that group. So that's really important to me. And it's a live program. It's not just a program that you can do self-paced. I think there's good in that. But for this kind of work, I think that it has to be live. We need to be doing it together. So every week during those 6 weeks, we'll be focusing on one of these roots. I'll be giving you all the steps that I go through when I work with one-on-one clients, so you can do that yourself and with my support as part of the group. And so each week there's going to be a class and then a weekly group call. Again, you can attend those lives. If not, you can watch the recording later. And you can go to radicatanutrition.com. That's my website /roots with an S, ROOTS, to get all of the details. And if you sign up before next Friday and use the coupon code ROOTS, you'll get $100 off, which is awesome. That's an amazing deal. So it's only $388 for the full 6 week of the program. And every week there will also be amazing prizes and bonuses and gifts, so to keep you motivated and accountable. And what else did I want to say about that? I think that's it. If you have any questions, feel free to PM me, email me, wherever you want to find me. And also I have something really special. You're the first ones to know about it, but the first 6 people that sign up for the Nourish Your Root 6-week group program will get an energy drawing with me where they can really see where their chakras are. So this is just another layer to see how energetically, where things might be stuck, where things are flowing well, where you need to focus more attention on. So that includes a drawing and then a 30-minute session with me where I go through it with you. So yeah, you're the first to know about it. The 6 first people that sign up will get that as a bonus. So let me know if you have any questions about it. And now I'm just seeing that there's a question from Michelle, which says, what books do you recommend reading that touches on the things you mentioned regarding inspired action? That's a good question. I mean, the kind of things I'm talking about in this course are things that I've been looking for a long time, and that I put together myself. Is there books that talk about those things? There are just so many self-help books, personal growth books. Nothing comes to mind right now. I guess I'll have to write my own book. Another book, I guess. But let me think about that. If something comes to mind, I'll just pop back in and put that in the comment. If anyone else has a recommendation of something that they found really helpful to have inspired action, especially as it relates to their health and nutrition, I'd love to hear it. But yeah, I'll have a look at my bookshelf and see what might be useful to you, Michelle. Thanks for that question. So that is it for today. So thank you so much to everyone who showed up to my mini course. And yeah, stay tuned for the MP3 podcast version of this course too, if you feel like you could listen to it again. And if you want to work more directly with me in the context of a group, go to radicatanutrition.com/roots. Love to see you there and work with you to really, really nourish and grow those roots to the level that you get to really, it's hard to describe and put into words. That's why I'm having issues here, but you'll know once you experience it. So I wish you all a good weekend and take care. Bye.